Well, hey, y'all. It's Friday afternoon and I'm headed home. Look, you have to show you. My purse matches my shirt. Ish. It's that same little cream color, doesn't exactly go. Because this is more white. Sorry about the shot. But anyway. So I'm headed out of here. Started off on a good weekend. I hope you guys are going to have a good weekend. I know that we have Mother's Day coming up, and I wanted to talk to you guys about that. Mother's Day is not always a happy thing. For some people, it's wonderful because they have wonderful kids and who thank them and are appreciative to them. Forgive me, I have no lipstick on. Yes, it actually wore off. My Chanel wore off today. But some people have their mother living and they have a good relationship with them. And these are all things that are wonderful that you have, not only, hey there, not only that you have a mom, but that you enjoy being a mom, that you have a good relationship there. And but you have to remember that's not the case for everyone. And hey there. So one of the things I wanted to bring up was when that's not the case. And that we're just as sensitive as you can be to it. For most people, when you say Happy Mother's Day, they're like, thanks. Because they realize you're basically just saying it general when you say it like that. Like people walked out today, y'all have a Happy Mother's Day, kind of generally. I had another girl say, I don't know if you're a mother or not, but if you are, Happy Mother's Day. And I just said thanks. You know, there's no need to go into the details. But there's a few times, situations where people aren't so happy. For one, if your mother has passed on, even if you know she went to heaven, which I do about my mother, it's a painful thing to be without your mom on Mother's Day. And so I know that while I don't have a mom per se that I can give a card to, I can celebrate other mothers, like my friends who are mothers, and that does help, you know. Also, to those of us who are a stepmom or just a person who never had kids of their own, or even adopted kids of their own, or they just have not had what we consider the privilege to be a mother. They've never had that. And so it's kind of, for most women, I think, generally speaking, unless that's just a decision you made and you don't want to be a mom, which is perfectly fine. I don't think it defines you to be a mom. Those of you who have dealt with the fact that your kids are growing up and that's painful, and the fact that you now, like, I guess I would call it empty nest syndrome, are having to find your purpose again, you realize that you can't let it define who you are. It is a piece of who you are. It is not the whole of who you are. If you're married, then there's certainly the piece of your spouse, which really should be greater. Happy spouse, happy house, meaning that really comes before even your children. And why is this not doing there? And it gives the kids a healthy security to see mom and dad love each other. I'm not saying it has to be perfect all the time, because we know that in the best of marriages, everybody has problems, everybody has issues. So there's not a perfect marriage, I would say. Hold on. I got to, y'all. I got to have lips when I'm talking to y'all. Look at, I'm using the camera to put this on. How about that? Okay, so that being said, There's also the situation where maybe there's hard relations between a parent and their kids, whether they've run away, whether they're doing drugs, whether they've had sex outside of marriage and it's costing the relationship. Maybe they got pregnant, whatever it is. Sometimes there's strained relationships with a mom and their kids. So that can make it painful too. Pretty terribly painful. I have friends that they are just really not happy that Mother's Day is coming up because they are, their child's run away. And so this can be a worse reminder to her about that. And other moms who have great relationship with their kids, but their kids are leaving home. And it's just a painful time. So I'm not saying we shouldn't celebrate Mother's Day. We should. And we should be happy and positive as we can be about all things. I think having a positive outlook is a lot to do with our mental health, to be honest with you. And so I think it's important to focus on the positive. But I'm just saying be sensitive to people who it may not be such a happy day. If they've experienced the death of a mother, the death of a child, there's another thing. They've never gotten to be a mother. Or if they are a stepmother, they realize that they are not the real mom, that there's another mom that needs to be acclaimed because that's who birthed the children and raised them. And a lot of times in a step situation, you came in later. And you may have helped parent them as much parenting as the natural parents. And therefore it can be very painful that you're not the actual mother. So just be sensitive to the fact that not everybody has the same situation, being a parent, being a mother. And I think that you should be, for those that you know are mothers, for those that you know have a great relationship with their mother and their children, happy Mother's Day to them all day long. But for those that you're not sure or that you know are struggling, this is what I would ask. Maybe be a little sensitive to the fact that if you say Happy Mother's Day and they don't look happy, that you would take the extra time to say, hey, is this a painful day for you or something? Or is there anything you want to talk about? And they may say, no, I really don't. Or they may say, well, actually, it's just a painful time for me. And that's your chance to be a listening ear and maybe an encouragement and a comfort to someone who may be struggling with motherhood, step parenting, the loss of a child, the loss of their mother. And it's just a good opportunity for you to be a listening ear. Nobody's asking for you to be a professional paid counselor, just a friend, and if you don't know them that well and you think it's awkward, then don't. But if you feel like it might be a good way to outreach to someone, even if you don't know them well. This is something where you have to pray and ask Holy Spirit, sometimes quickly, Lord, should I do something? Or just try to be sensitive to the Spirit. If He says yes, reach out, or no, let this go. So that's why it's so important for us to know the Lord's voice in the first place, so that you can let Him direct how to reflect on a day that centers around one of the most important roles in this world, and that is a human being who grows inside of her once the man has put his side of it, his bloodline and his side of life into her, and the two of them together, coming together, have made this life. And now she's growing it. She will birth it and help to raise it, hopefully with that same man, if it's a good situation. I know that there are also other times where there's rapes. There is, and people have had to give up their child, or they kept them anyway. And so I just think that it's just one of those holidays that's unique. As Father's Day is, there's times where when you are saying Happy Father's Day to a man who's gone through a divorce, and when he thought he was going to get to see his kids every single day, now he can only see them twice a month. Every 2 weeks he gets to have a couple of days with his kids, and it's devastating. And so just be sensitive when you say the happies to this and the happy to that, that some people either don't celebrate a holiday you do, or they don't feel happy about a holiday you do. I just think we should be sensitive and caring, that if the response warrants further words, then slow down enough to say, hey, do you want to talk about it? And if they don't, that's fine, but it may be that they really could use someone to talk to about it. Not that you're going to fix any problem, but just that you're a listening ear, and maybe something you say could be a comfort or wisdom to them. And in that case, again, I would really caution you and encourage you to speak only what the Holy Spirit has said, because I've seen people also just say some awful things, and they even maybe meant well, but it just came out bad. And so just be sensitive, you guys. And for those of you that this is a happy day, happy Mother's Day. For those of you who are struggling, I pray that somehow you can find some happiness in being a mom. If you're not a mom and you wish to be, then my heart is for you, because I know how painful that can be. And if you have lost a loved one, whether it is a daughter, a son, or a mother, if you've lost a child or you've lost your mother, meaning they have died, then my heart again goes out to you, because I know the pain of that is so intense. It's hard to even put words to it. But if you ever want to, you can comment below. And in this community here on YouTube, Southern Subbies, and you, one of my Southern Subbies reminded me that she was a Northern Subby, but that she was still a Subby. But we're here and we can talk to each other through the chats, the comments below, if you want to. It's a personal subject, you may not want to, but I feel like we share a lot of personal things. So just feel open and genuinely cared about, even though we can't talk face to face. I am going to start looking into how to do that live streaming, and maybe I'll send out a date and time that we'll do a live stream sometime. What do y'all think? Well, comment below, and I love y'all. Bye.